So I wanted to make this video today going over another gaming franchise that I happen to get into, and you guys are going to be getting a lot of videos like this on the channel where I just tell you guys a story of how I got into that said franchise. And what we're going to be talking about today is the Kirby series, and I've been a fan of the Kirby series ever since Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which I'll get a little bit more in depth later, explaining why I've been a fan of the Kirby series ever since I played that game. But I'm going to have a lot of fun in this video because I'm going to be discussing how I got into the Kirby franchise, what my first game was, what my favorite game of all time is when it comes to the Kirby franchise, what I love about Kirby, and just giving like my overall thoughts on the series as a whole. So this is going to be a fun video. I really do hope you guys enjoy. And I hope after this video I can find more fans of Kirby, because that would actually be pretty cool. So getting into the story of how I got into the Kirby franchise, like I just alluded to in the beginning of the video, I actually got into it because of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because when I got my Wii all those years ago and I got Super Smash Bros. Brawl and I played through that game, I unlocked all the characters, and I was very curious to see like where these characters came from, because around that time I've only played games like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, so there really wasn't that many Nintendo franchises that I've touched yet. And when I saw Kirby in this game and I saw what Kirby was able to do, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like when I was playing as Kirby and I was fighting Mario on like one of the free-for-all battles that you have in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I sucked him up and I was able to shoot fireballs, I was like, okay, how was Kirby able to do this? Because I really wasn't knowledgeable on Kirby at the time, but I just thought the way that Kirby was in that game, he was just so fun to use. So I decided to dive into the Kirby franchise so I can get to know a little bit more about it, and then I ended up becoming a big fan. So that's how I like discovered Kirby as a whole. That's how I discovered like who Kirby was, who King Dedede was, who Waddle Dee was, who Meta Knight was. So I'm very thankful for Super Smash Bros. Because like I said before in videos that I talked about Super Smash Bros., if it wasn't for that franchise as a whole, it wouldn't have helped other people discover other Nintendo franchises out there besides Mario and Zelda. So it was really nice that I was able to find Kirby in that game, so I was able to go back and play the Kirby games and become a fan of that series. And talking about like what my first Kirby game was, like the one I really wanted to start getting into, I honestly wanted to start like all the way back. And that's kind of the thing with me when I play like a game for the very first time. I always want to go back and play the first game of that franchise. I don't want to just like jump into like this random game when it comes to like that franchise. Like I really want to go all the way back in the beginning and experience everything from the very first game. So my first Kirby game was Kirby Adventure on the NES. I wasn't alive around that time, obviously, because that game I believe was released towards the end of the 1980s. I believe it was like 1988 or 1989 that game came out. So obviously I wasn't around the time to play that game. And like I said before, I didn't know what Kirby was. Like even after being born and growing up a little bit into my childhood, I didn't really know what Kirby was until, like I said, I touched Super Smash Bros. Brawl and I discovered the series from there. But yes, Kirby Adventure was my first game, and I had a lot of fun with that game because one of the things I just loved about Kirby so much, and I'll get a little bit more in depth with that, explaining what I love about Kirby a little bit later into the video, but I just loved how I was able to like travel through each level, I was able to suck up enemies, gain their abilities, and use those abilities throughout the level to take down other enemies and fight the bosses and all that. Like it was just a simple platforming game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm really glad I was able to start with that game because it really showed me like how Kirby's Adventure went from like Kirby Superstar, and you have all these other Kirby games that came later on, like Kirby Superstar Ultra, and then the most recent game when it comes to the Kirby franchise, which was Kirby's first open world game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So I'm very happy to say that that is my first entry into the Kirby franchise. And talking about like my favorite Kirby game overall would have to be Kirby Superstar, because I love that game. That was a game on the SNES, and I had a lot of fun with that game growing up because I loved like all the different kinds of abilities that you got in those games, where you were able to get like this fire power, or you were able to get like this ice power. Like there was just a whole lot of different abilities that Kirby was able to get in these games, and they were just so fun to use. Like that's probably like one of the things that people really enjoy about these Kirby games, is that they're always looking to see like, okay, what kind of new abilities is Kirby going to have in this new game that's going to be coming out that's a lot different from the abilities that he's had before. That's what really makes Kirby stand out as a character, and I'll get more in depth with that. I do want to share more thoughts on that instead of just spoiling it right here. But Kirby Superstar was my favorite Kirby game of all time. Honestly, I can always go back and play that game at any time. Like, it's just a very fun game, and the SNES is my favorite gaming console of all time, so there was a lot of gems back then that you could go and play. So Kirby Superstar was definitely like one of those gems back then that I had a lot of fun playing. And talking about what I love about Kirby the most, which I'm really excited that I decided to share my thoughts for this part of the video. I honestly just love Kirby because I think it's a very unique franchise, because at least from what I know of based on the games that I played around the time growing up, Kirby was like the only video game character that I ever saw that actually had the ability to suck up an enemy and gain one of their abilities. Like, I've never seen that in a game before, ever. And that franchise is Sakurai's baby, so I can definitely tell how much love he puts into the Kirby franchise. And I just love, as I mentioned before, you know, all these different kinds of abilities that you get in the Kirby games. It's just really cool. Like, when I got like Sword Kirby, I got like super excited. Or when I got like that fire ability, or when I was like able to turn into a wheel and I was able to like go around really fast in the game, attacking all these different kinds of enemies heading down my direction. I just had like a lot of fun with that. And it just goes to show, like, you know, how much Kirby has come from like the way beginning when it was on the NES system, and just looking at where it is right now with the most recent game, as I mentioned not that long ago, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's actually like the first 3D Kirby game when it comes to like an open world game. Like, yes, we've had 3D Kirby games before, but this is like the first open world Kirby game, and I had a lot of fun with it because it was a different approach for the Kirby franchise, which I always look forward to see, like how a franchise evolves as new games come out for that gaming's franchise. And I liked the direction that they took with the Kirby game. I thought it was very fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun going through each of the levels. I had a lot of fun exploring the different environment that this Kirby game had, because it was a lot different, because it was more open, so you were able to move around a lot more. And I love the different variety of enemies in there. I love the new abilities, like I always do. Like in that game, you know, Kirby was able to turn into like, you know, various objects. So he was able to turn into like a car to like break down like certain walls that were blocked, or he was able to turn into like this platform, so you're able to move it around to progress throughout the level. Like, there was just a lot of different things added into that game that made it really fun. And of course the boss fights were fun as well. Like, I can't even begin to tell you like when I don't have fun when it comes to Kirby boss battles. Like, I always look forward to playing them whenever I play a Kirby game, because Kirby, when it comes to like franchises from Nintendo, it's definitely like one of those series that I really do love. Like, yes, I love Mario and Pokemon a lot, but definitely I do have a soft spot for Kirby because it's like a really fun franchise. Like, I don't really have that many complaints when it comes to Kirby, because whenever a new Kirby game comes out, I just always had fun with it. Like, Kirby is just like that game or everybody loves, and everybody just loves Kirby as a whole. Like, Kirby's such a lovable character, so it's really hard not to like Kirby. But it just goes to show, like, you know, how popular he's gotten over the years and how much fans he has, and why everybody always looks forward to a new game dropping for Kirby, because again, it's a very fun series, and it's hard not to like sit down and play a Kirby game for hours and not have fun coming out of it. Those are my overall thoughts on how I got into the Kirby franchise. Like, I really wanted to make this video discussing how I got into Kirby, because I really wanted to connect with some of you guys out there, because I love when I make videos like this where I'm able to sit down, be myself, express my thoughts, talking about all these different kinds of gaming franchises that I love. And Kirby was definitely a series that I eventually wanted to talk about more on the channel, and you'll eventually get more Kirby videos in the future. This isn't going to be the only Kirby video, but this is going to be the introduction for Kirby on the channel, so at least people could stumble across this video and be like, okay, this is how Drop got into Kirby for the first time. I can actually hear his story of how he got into Kirby overall. So I had a lot of fun making this video, and I really do hope that you guys enjoy this video as well. Like I say all the time, I just love being myself, expressing my thoughts in these videos when it comes to all the different kinds of things that I love. So if you guys have any other thoughts on Kirby franchise as a whole, like when it comes to your favorite characters, your favorite Kirby game, your favorite Kirby ability, your favorite Kirby bosses within the games, just let me know all your overall thoughts on the Kirby franchise in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to hear it. And if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Facebook page. All of that is located in the description below. And also be sure to click on the bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I upload a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's a daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.